And we know what Jesus was when he was a man on earth. What was his profession? Was he a doctor?
Carpenter.
He was a heavenly doctor, but what was Jesus' work?
Carpenter.
But that's his heaven. But when he was a man on earth,
Panday to si Lord Jesus.
Jesus
Panday to
was
siya.
a carpenter. Because we know Jesus is the foundation. But also the builder. Without us, without the carpenters, the workers, there's no building. Without Jesus, there's no building, heavenly building for us. And then once though I became, and Jesus came in, and it's like, oh, Jesus, please forgive me for my sins. I could feel right away, boom, the God coming in me. And so it's no longer me. I feel me in there because I'd rather go steal a chicken and have a dinner. I would rather. I think we're set here. Good afternoon from Northern California. We have a little news because I was advertised last week, the week before, that we'd be moving. That is still happening. But luckily for my logistics, it's only like a few miles, make it a little easier, where we're going to start a permaculture tree for a nonprofit. And that is going to be awesome for us because, it's really feeling called by God to help people out. And that'll be a great way to do it. And so as we get going here, let's see. A little slow on the windows. Sorry, I got so much again. Dan's a chicken thief. Actually, what I was communicating, but is that in my natural sense, I'd rather just steal something than actually have to work for it. And so that's what I was communicating, is that, and there's no good thing within a person. If somebody wants, like, oh, look at him, he's so helpful, or they do that. We just looked at a little documentary on the former First Lady of the Philippines, who even though the commentary was on her jewelry, millions and millions of dollars that was probably taken from the Philippine people, because the First Lady, I think it was hundreds of millions of dollars of jewelry. And they were saying, she was so giving, and it showed her like handing out these little, probably dollar bills or something to the people. And she built hospitals. And I was like, well, wait a minute. If she didn't hoard all that millions and millions and millions, she could have probably had actually state-of-the-art equipment in those hospitals. But you see what I'm saying, is that people will ascribe things to other individuals. And it's like, really? Do we really know their motives? I don't think she was that generous when she had millions and millions of dollars. And hello, everybody. It's going to be short today. It was, again, I'm moving. So I wasn't going to have a show, and it's like, oh, I got to at least come say hi to everybody. And there's Krista and Joseph and Rob and I see out there. I feel like Mr. Rogers. There are my neighbors. And Joseph. Alrighty. So, like I said, today will be a pretty quick because I've taken two 14-foot trailer loads over to the new property of plants and some nursery pots, and so gonna do another one for tomorrow, and then still have to work and make some money. But I'm really excited because mainly it's just the I went to the youth group today. They have a little, breakfast club that they do, and so Philip was going in, and usually afterwards I do a sermon study with a group of people, and so since I was not gonna stay for that, I was like, oh, I'll go with Philip to the youth, and that was awesome. He did one. The pastor did a sermon on Exodus and Moses, and which reminded me of myself, who was like, Lord, I know I got to leave here. This is turning into a dead end, and where do you want me to go? Where do you want to lead me? And of course, as a Christian, I think, the designer of the universe, and you guys have seen my shows, I give evidence for an intelligent designer. Again, it's I give evidence for things that look designed, and then we as humans take that evidence and say, well, is that actually designed, or is it just the appearance of design that really happened by chance? We only have two explanations of the evidence so far. There might be something, I've never heard of one, but it's either designed or it happened by chance. And so today, more on tying with the Exodus of the Bible, Moses and the people. But first, I wanted to tie it in with a couple of things that communication. So when God leads us, or something leads you, it is you need communication. By no beavers, they were so cute. And next time, I'm not going to get into the engineering part or the design and the measuring. Mine is on the design part. And I got in trouble with Claude because I started, we posted it was truth. It was off of Google, of course. And it was like, no, that was wrong. But I was detailed on the design part of beaver dams, which I would think is the really good evidence for a real intelligent designer. So, but no, today was cool. The communication let's start out, which one are we going to do? Plant Kingdom. And then, I got to share that first. Sorry, guys. So there's communication. And then again, we have to look at the evidence. What evidence out there is there? Communication. As you guys know, my communication is kind of evidence that I'm not that good. But it still takes some brain power to communicate with others. And let me share this, though. So here we got plants communicating, and there's many examples. This was just a general. I'm going to share this. A general explanation of plant communicating. And again, I have so many windows open that I have a little lag time in the computer. So let's watch this one real quick. Or not quick. Let's see if this comes out. Sorry about that. Let's do it.
Systems.
Okay, let's try that again. Let's see. Hopefully we can do it. Let's do that over again. And this time I'll
Plants, like humans, have sophisticated communication systems, though they don't speak. New research shows that plants communicate through chemical signals, electrical signals, and underground fungal networks, often referred to as the Wood Wide Web.
Wood Wide Web. Isn't that cute? Now, the specific one I was thinking about, but again, I did this last minute like usual, and it's a weed, just a common, I don't know how common, but it's a weed, plant that we do not cultivate commercially. And it's fine. It's just happily, if it gets a caterpillar starting to chew on it, the leaves, the plant tissues start creating a toxin for the caterpillars. Now, the caterpillars have eaten enough by them, they can reproduce, but not take out. But the killer part of it, you can say, okay, yeah, that's, that's beneficial. But other plants in the proximity to the affected plant, the other plants that are not being attacked will also start creating the same toxins. So again, like this one was just saying, they think it's stuff emitted through the air but then again, that's a communication. So the other plant has to receive it, and if as the population, so guys, that's kind of complicated. Again, as a creator, we want to get that design, and like, how do we do that? Can you see the problem with just chance mutations worked on by natural selection is a stretch, because you've got to have that information. You've got to get the information in one of the genomes or a group of the genomes, but then you have to have a mutation that will actually be able to receive. Now, and then also when you're changing the chemical structure and creating toxins in a plant that before was not toxic, you have got, that's okay. We can say, okay, that's one. But then if to communicate that to other plants, that they must start producing. So then what's on the receiving plant, he has to have some kind of, what we would say in ours is ears, understanding, and human beings. But in a plant, how does it receive that? So guys, again, just evidence I'm presenting. I don't have enough faith, as the one apologist says, to be an atheist or somebody that doesn't believe in a creator. Okay, so let's finish this one up. And is it going? Going.
These networks allow plants to share resources, warn each other of dangers, and adapt to environmental changes. Similar to human nonverbal communication, plant-to-plant interaction is vital for survival. Disruptions to these networks, caused by deforestation or climate change, could weaken plant defenses and ecosystems. Scientists are now studying ways to understand and preserve these plant communication systems.
And cool, let me get out of that one. Hopefully we'll get quicker now. We will hopefully get quicker on the computer speed now that I'm clearing out some of the tabs. So you see right there, and see it's as ProverbsGuys Ministries, who believe in Jesus Christ and God and a loving creator. Like the video said, a lot of people will get, kind of tweaked out about that because it's talking about deforestation, all that good stuff. And okay, I don't know if you heard me or not, but we here at ProverbsGuys Ministry love the planet and the creation, and want us to keep it in the pristine, the way, the symbiotic relationships between plants, animals, soil, microbes, all that good stuff. And we don't want deforestation. A lot of that's a code word sometimes for some people who really don't care on the planet, but just those rational people that want to save the planet. We do want people to make an income, grow their food, but without destroying ecosystems and the planet itself. So here's the next one, a communication. And this one we know, let's see if I can try to do it right this time, the cool fireflies. And so I'm keeping it to more, simple type, I would say, uh, animals and plants, bugs and plants. So let me see. Let me make sure I got it right this time. I didn't. Add that to scene. Behind the scene with a techie advanced person that you guys know I'm not. Okay, so let's get this one. And look at the amazing, and we've seen it. We've all seen this. They're just, out there in nature. And sometimes we, as humans, like, okay, that was yesterday. What's the newest thing? But no, let's go back to some of the old things that are really cool, because the plant communication is pretty well, newer on the scene compared to a lot of the discoveries. These guys have been here for as long as there was man. You had people watching them. But check this out. Maybe we can check it out better if I started a little farther back. And let's see here. Okay. But how they will synchronize their light and their pattern. Let me turn the light on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it on. Okay, that is awesome. So, part of a landscaping is doing outside lighting, and we just did a job a couple years ago with two of my companions that do work together, and I do have it on other videos. But it was a natural. Get out of there! What am I? How does that do that always? It always does it, so I should be ready for it. And we did a in Northern California, so in the Redwood Country, we did a tropical display, water feature, gas lighting for torches. It made it kind of like a, what you'd see in like a resort or Hawaii. But anyway, did the lights, and it was thousands and thousands of dollars because the customer wanted them synchronized. He had mature, about 40-year-old redwoods, lit those up in the front yard, did some tree lighting in an existing tree, but also in the water, in the waterfalls. And he wanted it, synchronized so he could actually see different things, turn it on, turn sections off, and guaranteed the computer system was way over my head on what that took. And he could do it from his smartphone. And so, guys, same thing now. Now we're talking about an insect, though. And here on the Designer Show, I'm giving evidence for design, and then you make the decision. And if you think it's simpler, explained by a bunch of chance, mutations worked on by natural selection, or if there's some kind of design. But if you look in there, it's communication. So when you do and this is kind of, there's a couple kinds of communication, and I should have looked that up first, but it just popped into my brain, of course. Is that, right now we're communicating. There's people, you're talking, there's Robin and what talking, and I haven't been reading it because I've been trying to pay attention to here, but communicating, I'm giving my thoughts, and you guys are communicating back. So there's the other type, though, of communication, which is more, or information, you might want to call it, is more, and I'm not even going to say what I think it is because I'd be wrong, but it's instructions, things that, um, you know, the non-intelligent type of communication, say like uh, uh, um, chemicals communicating information. It's not an intelligent thing. It's just, attractions, chemical attractions, the communication and information like that. But there's also the information that is encoded, is more complex, is harder to imagine happened by chance. And so you look at the fireflies, you look at the plants communicating danger. And so we have brains. We can say, okay, yeah, the humans, if we, whoa, there's some horrible thing over there, a truck's coming at somebody, communicate, there's danger. But how does a plant do that? That is quite complex. And then with the lighting, so the lighting, the little bugs with the little lanterns on them, fireflies. So you look at those guys, and it's like, yeah, split second, they all turn on, the whole group of them, or they'll all turn the lights off. And so, how do we? Science doesn't even know that, and they have been studying. I've been watching these videos for a many years. Don't know how that produces in a little teeny bug, how chance mutations could have done that to begin with, because again, it doesn't matter if there's some light chemicals inside of a human body, not going to be able to see it. Inside of a bug, not going to see it. You need then a transparent membrane so that they can actually see it. But then again, you're communicating, and it's fast. Like they timed it with hundreds or thousands of these insects. It's within a fraction of a second. They're on, they're off. How do they do that? That is crazy to think of design, but it's a way of communication. It's a way. Some of them say that use it for reproduction, so that the guy's flying around with his light going, and the girl's down below, and she's doing her light thing, and they get together if she happens to like his light, and like again, what kind of a mutation makes a female and want to mate with this guy? And they'll say, oh, well, he must be a stronger male. Well, how does the female know that? You're an insect. How do you know you really want the strongest? Guys, the complexity. You know how much stuff goes around in my brain, and that's even kind of an overload. I know a lot of you guys, and that's why a lot of you guys hard time following me, because you got to focus on tying your shoes. And, somebody asks you, like, hey, how about if you move your foot and tie your shoe, and you guys like fall over dead? Because, and that's not a bad thing. We need you guys to keep guys like me organized and on point. So you see our problem here. But then how does that communication happen? It is information, and it's not just random information. It's not just, this is specific information, like the one needed for reproduction, the other needed for protection of insects eating the plants. That's not just, it's time to close your eyes because, the lights in the sky go off. That's a communication. It's dark. Now my brain, I want to go to sleep. Unless you're an owl or a mouse or anything nocturnal. So, guys, we're just getting layer upon layer and upon layer of complexity. And sorry for you guys that are more detail focused instead of looking at the whole picture. That's why I know I have a hard time with a lot of you guys, because you'll say, well, that firefly, it could happen. But you got to imagine you've got how many different species, different subspecies, different categories of plants, animals, insects, fungi, not fungis, that are going to need to happen all at the same time. The soil microbes, the symbiotic relationship and its multiple levels of symbiotic relationship. And the real cool one, they talked a little bit about the networks of fungus under the ground. There's huge, and I don't know if I think can't remember if it was one continuous live fungus or many different ones, doesn't matter. But in a forest, they would fertilize, and the test that showed that it was actually active is that they would fertilize one section where the fungus was, and they'd measure, and they could see it traveling out hundreds of feet into different, we would say, patches of fungi. Somehow they're connected, and it's like craziness. And then just that being needed for certain parts of forest growth. Guys, maybe I'm just too simple. Maybe I'm like this, just going for the simplest explanation. And I know that was the scientific way before. Dr. Richard Dawkins, other biologists, is like, oh, you go for the simplest explanation. And God is more complex, because then who created him? Well, that was a fallacious argument, because if it's a creator of the universe, it's not a naturalistic entity. Therefore, it can't be created naturally. So that answers that really quick, because, again, layer upon layer, and we could go, I should start counting them, all the different species alive and the ones that are extinct, all the different things outside of biology. That's just talking the whole range of our universe, all the different things that had to be just right to get to 2025 where we all are. I'm not a big believer in uniformitarianism, which means that what we see today has been since the start. There's changes. And that's the funny thing, because when somebody who believes in evolution talks about, oh, well, it's uniformitarianism, your whole belief has changed. Why would you get stuck in uniformitarianism? Like, oh, well, 2025, if we have this happen in nature or this happen, well, a million years ago, if that's what you believe, or 10 millions, it happened the same way, that there was no change in these laws. That's, woo, I'm not big on that one. Anyway, some of them are, some I guess we could say are, but then you really have to get outside the thing that science is just information in, not facts, it's just information. And then the human intelligent brains have to see what the best cause of those were. So anyway, that was the wrap up on the, that's wrapping up the thing. I will throw these on because I didn't read them, and I don't want to get too behind. But before I go into a cool thing we learned today, coherent communication requires intelligence. Many unintelligent people communicate in such a way they cannot be understood. Is that about me, Robin? Okay. No, but that is outside the norm. The norm is that we can communicate basic things. Humans have gone way overboard. And an example, I have friends that are authors or English people, and they're like, oh man, you can just tell. It's like, oh, Dan's retarded. But then if I talk to him on plants, on design, on people, it's like, it was really funny. This, and a little example, I had a friend come today and goes, Dan, in this nursery you want to do, nonprofit, there's not a lot of money to start it. And he goes, you could do a school and have you teach, but then they would be able to work for, part of their lab, like for, that's, what schools do. And it was like, wow, and this person is very focused on things, which again is great. And it's like I had to tell him, it's like, yeah, I thought of that. I have a paper, School of Horticulture, called Edama, which means earth or land in Hebrew. And I had that in the works since COVID and maybe before. And so, but for a designer mind, there's all this stuff going on, and you have to take in the total picture, not saying, well, we have white dogs and black dogs, so that means a firefly could have gone from a non-firefly beetle to a firefly beetle. Wow, just simple. The eyeballs, that was a Dr. Richard Dawkins. Simple, all these little gradual steps. We have light sensitive, we have non-light sensitive creatures. Then we have these ones with cells that are that are light sensitive. And then, you got these light eyes here, and then it can develop higher into more complex eyes. That's not a designer talking. That's a philosopher, because it's very easy to blow that out of the water. Because in the I have the little guy, the one I love so much, the little trilobites that I want to recreate, because we should be able to do it. It happened by chance. We should do it by design, I would think. So, compound eyes in the Cambrian explosion. Guys, complex, some of the up to 20,000 little eyeballs in the complex eyes, like a dragonfly or a spider, all with brains working together. I have a hard time with two eyes. Sometimes they kind of go cross, and then it's like, just doesn't process well. But if you think you have 20,000 little eyeballs and they all have to process, guys, that's totally complex. Your eyeball evolution, boom, a little bug having a heart attack and flying out of the sky. It does not work. So, yes, Robin, I'm the tech guy. So, chemistry. It's funny. I did have biology in high school. Somehow I skipped basic science, and I skipped basic math. I don't know how I did that test in 8th grade, because although when I got into biology, the best thing was the senior girls who weren't really interested in biology. And I don't know how a couple freshmen got at their same table, but us freshmen were very interested in biology, and the girls, I think, liked the attention, but they definitely weren't interested in the science of biology. Let's see, on this, we got Miss Robin, most animals with it live at the bottom of the ocean. I think I skipped one. Sorry, folks. Robin, I loved your show. I saw Kentucky Atheist, and I don't know why I think anyway, that was an awesome show. Oh, with Joseph. That's why I looked at it, because it was linked over. Awesome. And I saw you had been on one of his shows, and he said you had a show of your own, which I got to send me the link to that, because I thought I was subscribed. Anyway, the Mammoth Cave, Joseph. And sorry if I'm skipping too much, because I'm going to get back out and do more packing. We just said a lot of plants out there survived. I was surprised, because last summer I couldn't take care of them, and we were out without water. Have you been to Mammoth Cave? Oh, is that the one, Robin, you were telling me about in Kentucky? I heard of a cool one in Oregon that's supposed to be a huge cave system. But yeah, more cool stuff. Hello, Speedy. Yes, he's a fun guy. Oh, I'm way behind on these things. So I was way back there. But as I'm reading these, we can go with the message today, again, to tying that nature into the Bible, which kind of gives it, to me, evidence in that, God calling Now we can go through that. We won't go that one because that's not a good leading. But of course, with Abraham, and therefore Lord sent him forth from. This was the first one. Okay, this is the bad one. How did I do that? Yeah, God sent Adam and Eve out of the garden, but it's because they wrecked things. As Christians, and here's a little Christian theology, is that with the and you know what? I did it again. I did not share it on the screen so you guys could see it. Oh, good. So I don't have to do that one first. We will do, because that was a bad call. And so here we go. On Abraham was called. We all know that story. And again, Dan has to put his little pointer finger on there. Too many pointer fingers. But this was last minute. I wasn't going to do a show today, so I can't blame my tech guys. I will make you into a nation. And the Lord, I'll start at the beginning. The Lord had said unto Abram, go from your country, your people, and your father's household to a land I will show you. I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be blessed. And try to get that. You will be blessed, and okay, that's all I want to do anyway. So God just tell him, do this, follow me. And Abraham does, and he was totally blessed. The cool thing about the Bible, little footnote, which I go, because, oh yeah, this is just so clinical stuff. But it's like, think of Abraham. Whoa, God, yeah, I believe in you, but you want me to do what? We got to remember those days. There was no protection. Your family was your protection. There was no protection outside of your tribal group. A lot of not nice people. And so Abraham's like, yeah, but can I just trust you and stay with the protection of my relatives, my father's house? And really, when the rubber meets the road, God promises to lead you, and the leading you is to be more like Christ. And so, again, with his family, there was probably some, ungodly stuff going around. You look at the child sacrifice going on. You had a lot of stuff in that culture. That's why, when people will kind of like, oh, those, people of the Bible and God, it's like, oh, they had slavery or they had this or they had that. It's like, yeah, God could have just made it all modern day Hollywood. But would that have really been a good thing? He could have made it modern day China. Yeah, there's no. Oh yeah, there is slavery there. Oh yeah, in the United States, the most technical whatever country the world is known. All that good stuff. We have human slavery right now in the United States, and so much of the government. Mr. Epstein. We had, these are socially integrated people. These are, some of the top of the top. If you would have been Epstein, you went to all the parties. You knew everybody. And it was kind of funny because I just heard a quote from the widow of a senator, and she was like, oh yeah, we always knew, but we were too afraid to say anything. That was one of the top senators who was there forever. He was always such a brave man. He was, POW and, survived that. And I'm not taking that away, man. That would be like horrible. But you were too afraid to get on a microphone and say, hey, we've got some underage dirt going on here by this man named Epstein. Guys, watch how you judge. Kind of get the context of things going on. But through history, what did he do? Oh, Abraham, he just went out there. He didn't have any of that. No, he wouldn't have been worried. He wouldn't have cared about, going out to vicious people, and even not vicious people, but people that were not his family. But then we remember the story, and this is the cool thing about the Bible, which makes it sound like it wasn't made up to glorify this religion. These weren't the heroes. I guess his wife was pretty desirable, because he went into one nation and he noticed, wow, if that king kind of likes my wife. So he made it up with Sarah. Hey, just say you're my sister. I, I'm this brave guy. I'm going to, do what's right. And God came to the guy in a dream, and the king was kind of mad and kicked Abraham out. He's like, what are you doing trying to make me take your, I wanted your sister. Then now's your wife? What are you doing? Get out of here. I don't want, even the godless king knew. And so that's not the story of other gods, other prophets that are, whoa, they're the greatest people on earth. They're above everybody else. No, these are common people. Abraham was a common people, common struggles, common, all that. Is like, dude, is flip side with Sarah. She wasn't perfect. Oh yeah, I can't have a baby. So, hey, take my handmaiden. That wasn't going to be a problem in 5-6 years. When the handmaid is like, hey, I'm the one that gave him a son. You can go make some bread or something. Go make him a sandwich. I'll make him babies. And kind of strife in the Abraham, Sarah. And that's what gave us the Muslim community of today. And so, before you kind of attack the Bible as just being fiction, it's bad fiction. I'm sorry. King David, yeah, man, he slewed. He killed that giant, man. He's great. Not too many chapters later, one of his mighty men, he killed. He had adultery with his wife and then had the dude killed. That only when all before King David was out fighting. He was there. He was fighting the battles of these people that did child sacrifice, that did tons of bad stuff. And he was talked in by his commanders. Oh, David, you're too important. You stay in the castle. We'll go fight. Your mighty men will go fight for you. You stay in the castle. That's when he saw Bathsheba. That's when he, and I would hope that although they were two consenting adults, come on now. And then he was king. So, what would it mattered if he just, had the guy killed? It wasn't his brother or something. I guess, we got to get into those morals. It's like, yeah, that was probably bad. It was probably bad that he committed adultery. Probably absolutely wrong to do that. And then to try to cover it up, I think you can debate me that adultery is not bad because it's two consenting adults, but can anybody here think that the story of him having the husband murdered so he could take Bathsheba's wife, is anybody here like, and you can comment, we'll have these comments pasted, but yeah, if you're hearing this later on, tell me why it's wrong that he had the guy killed, or why is it okay that he had him killed? Because if there is no God, it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter at all. And then if you think it matters, because like, oh, you hurt somebody, so survival of the fittest. So that's my argument. It's like, you guys, again, and I'll throw this in because I love to, Machiavellian, back in the 15, 17, whatever, Dark Ages, wrote a book, The Princes, where he detailed how to stay in power. How do the rich stay in power? He wasn't really on the inside, but he knew it. He really got, I think, booted after this book. But you use people against each other. So there is no morality in the princes, people who just want power, the rich, the powerful. And it's kind of obvious that those rich and powerful are going to want to say, hey, yeah, don't kill people. Because who would we kill? Who would the common people always end up killing? The rich people that use them, along with anybody else that got in our way. But guys, you got, the ethics and the morality. I don't know why that you guys like, oh yeah, we got to be nice to people. No, my back hurts right now. I've done work that I shouldn't have done to help people out. And why shouldn't I do whatever it takes for me to be the fittest and for me to survive? See, and that's where it's kind of like you guys are giving me two different stories. Like, oh, well, we've evolved higher. It's not higher to me. I'm on the bottom of this power structure we're in. I'm a gardener. So don't tell me that, this is a good thing for my genetics, for my survival. Anyway, yeah, tell that to all those. I love this, and this works all around, but this is always funny because I am that kind of a rebel kind of person, is that you always notice there's a big group of people that did suicide bombing. And it was like, who was giving the orders, and then who was doing the suicide bombs? It was these old guys that are rich out of their brains that would say, yes, for our God or for our state or for whatever, you go kill yourself and kill as many of those people as you want, while I sit here in my mansion with all my comforts of life. And I'm saying, you know what? Hey, dude, why don't you go show me how it's done? I'm not quite getting this. How do I do this? How do I kill the most people and kill myself in the process? Hey, old guy with the mansion, why don't you show me how? But no, see, that's the problem, guys. You're giving me all. That's the survival of him. He's the fittest in his little tribe, nation, social group. Doesn't make sense, though, on the scheme of, oh, yes, this is a great thing from godless evolution. The other one, then we can go, is like you look at the soldiers. I just saw a thing where our last politician trying to get into a higher office was like, we have no wars. No, that wasn't him. To quote it, paraphrase it better, we have nobody in a war zone in the United States military. And then the funny thing, it was on, one of those short YouTube shorts. You had like 6 or so military guys, and the clip of this politician turned out to be on the screen. They're watching. It's like, well, who are we then? Because yes, we've had people, and that was a blatant lie she told just to try to get elected. But it wasn't her. She wasn't out there. It was young guys, man. And I'm getting old, so sorry, man, but they were probably 18 to 24. Yeah, the young guys are getting out there to die or kill. Yeah, don't tell me that, oh, this is such a great civilization. We're at the peak of our tribal, herbal, hurdle existence in this godless evolution. No. There is a plan that this perfect God, Jesus Christ, who made a plan to redeem those who are imperfect. Because if you bring imperfection into the presence of perfection, then there's no perfection left. And through his life, death, and resurrection, he said, you know what? I will let you take that punishment. In God's eyes, I got punished for the sins of the world. But if there's guilt in your heart that it's like, no, that was something you did. Another lie from the humanist, I think it's a lie, you can debate me, is that, there's nothing, not really that bad. There's nothing really that bad. We just make mistakes. You tell that guy that, strapped on a bomb to kill other people, and, he'd lived through it maybe. And you could say, what? Was that really an evil? Oh yeah, well, maybe it was a school bus. A big deal, he just did what he thought was right. It was his truth. No, nobody's going to say that. And his life is pretty well over because he's going to be stuck in a little box in a cage, probably mistreated because those people that have put him into prison probably were the same people that he tried to kill. Humanity is not nice. So that is the easy, simple, gospel. And then so there's another one we got. Is this the right one? We have no. It's Garden of Eden again. I will just tell. We all know. Here it is. Exodus. Yes, this is it. So, we have Moses, and God sends him to free the people of Israel that are slaves in Egypt. And so you look at that story, and it's a communication. It's a let's see, we'll put it so you can read it. Look at that. I'm getting so bad at this. The Lord said to Abraham, that was Abraham. That's not Exodus. How did I do that? Oh, I know what I did. Forget it. You guys know it. If not, look it up. God tells, that's what I did. God tells Moses, you're going to go speak. And goes, God, I killed a guy. I'm wanted for murder over there. He goes, no problem. That's been a while. That's my paraphrase on this. But the one that's not is kind of like my parallel, except for I think he was worse than I was with a speech stutter. And so God said, don't worry, I'll figure that out. You just go, you do what I do. You do what I'm leading you to do. I'm communicating to you to do this. And see how that parallels nature. So why would people who are just trying to make up a religion go to such detail in stuff that really doesn't matter? This does not show that the hero of the story is Moses. And what kind of fabricated religion, and you guys say, oh, the people that are against it will say, they were sheep herders. They're Bronze Age sheep herders. They were dumb people. And I say, all you atheists that say that, I want to see the plans to the pyramid. I want to see how they did it, how they do it. I want to see how you're going to do that without modern equipment. I want you to show me. No, they weren't that stupid, guys. And for you to say that these were ignorant people shows you're being ignorant or lied to and believing it. But yeah, God said, come now, therefore, and I will send you unto Pharaoh, that thou mayst bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. And Moses said unto God, who am I, that I should go unto Pharaoh, and that I should bring forth the children of Israel out of Egypt? And he said, certainly, I will be there, and this shall be a token unto thee, and that I have sent you. So this story is not about Moses. Every other religion, what about the gods or the heroes of the story? And if you really look at this is not how a human being with our tribal instincts, with all that good stuff, would do it. No, Moses would have gone in there and smacked Pharaoh upside the head and say, back off, dude, I'm taking my people out. The Greek gods, the Buddha, who even in their own things was in a state of mind that wasn't very, very good, but they make him out to be that, oh yeah, he was this, oh, what a loving guy, da da da. No, the dude Buddha, whatever his name was a rich prince whose father would clear the streets of anything, sickness or lepers or anything like that. So little baby Buddha would go out in public and not see anything bad. No, this guy was, kind of tweaked, and You look through the Hindu gods, any of the gods, it's like this is a different God. The God of the Bible is definitely different. But when you look at this calling, and he went forth, and and you can say, oh well, this is wasn't really true. It's just a story or a thing. Well, it's happened in my life. It's happened in multiple lives of people in Christianity. And you'll say, well, no, some people reject Christianity. Well, yeah, that's prophesied. That's a novel prediction in the scripture that people will say they believe, but they really haven't submitted. They haven't really listened to the call. And again, so that you people go, oh, Dan thinks he's better. I didn't do anything. All I did was acknowledge that, man, I'm not that good of a person. I'm imperfect. I've got things I'm feel guilty about because I did it. And then processing that God loves me, he'll take away my sins. Boom. It happened. And then this whole thing of God will actually dwell within you. It happens. It happened. Yep, there's fake flags. There's a whole religion that said, oh, if you get a little tickle in your stomach, it means that Book of Mormon is true. Well, again, novel prediction that that people would deny the true Christ and make up their own stories. Anyway, we got some Egypt stuff. Robin, what do we got here? Let me get rid of that one so we can see it better because I'm not seeing that well. Okay, let's remove that. I was still here. There we go. The stones were quarried. Okay, let's start that over. Oh, yeah. The stones were quarried up the river on the Nile and floated on rails to the sites. The Egyptians diverted the river to the work sites. Really cool, but you're talking about tons of stuff. I impressed my friend because I had a 3/4 of a ton rock. It's heavy, and had it delivered. And then when my friend came back, because he's trying to figure, okay, we got to get a tractor. Do we get a crane? That's too much for, we'd have to have a crew. And it's like, no, I put it back there myself. And the next time he saw it, I was like, what'd you do? He thought I was, magician. But no, there is things. But when you're talking about tons and tons and tons, and that's just one of them. And that's just one pyramid. And how many thousands of those rocks? And then you look, Robin, which was totally cool. The latest one, and this one this is, I saw it on a video that they're doing some kind of ground penetrating, like radar, and they found caverns underneath. Now I don't know about the pyramids, but I saw this other one, and this is documentary, that there's these huge caves underground, and different, like one had a huge, like a coffin, but it was for a bull or something, for a cow. Crazy stuff. So they did some really cool stuff. And then the problem with that, and that's that is very good, but we know the records is that a lot of them did not record their defeats. Now you're saying it's like, oh, well, we have this one and this certain dynasty, and he did it all. Well, that doesn't mean that every pharaoh, and it wasn't the norm that if you got defeated, you didn't write that down. And if somebody wrote it down, a lot of times they were killed, because talking about propaganda and slanted news, the pharaoh couldn't show weakness. Again, they had other countries. It's like, I'm scared of that dude. But then if you had a bunch of peoples defeat him, he's not that scary anymore, especially when Pharaoh said he was a god. And in that time frame, they're going to go, okay, he says he's a god. We're going to be really fearful of him, and we're going to really make sure that he is defeatable and that our God is going to be able to defeat their God. So the Egyptians had records, but there's not total records. And then secondly on that is that there are records that are made up. We know that in our modern country. It turned out that if you guys read the JFK assassination report, that the powers that be knew it wasn't just one shooter. Yet what was the narrative? Oh yeah, it was a guy on the grassy knoll. And then people would go, whoa, no, that can't be. They're going, you're a conspiracy theory. You don't trust your government. You must be a communist. Dudes, don't even trust what you think. If you're like me and honest, it's like sometimes I can think some real off-base stuff. Let's see. Thank you, Robin, for your getting me to go longer when I wanted a short show today. The Bible does not make a claim about the pyramids. Exactly. No. I was just saying that as people who are saying that the people out of that time, and you've heard the argument, Robin, of that, oh, the Bible, it was a bunch of ignorant Bronze Aged, is it Bronze Age? Correct me, it's something like that. Bronze Age goat herders or sheep herders. We can't trust them. They were ignoramus. And that's where I brought up, it's like, no, these people were pretty smart back then. Just like in modern times, we have the smart people, and then we have the gardeners. Back then, you had the smart people, and I would like to put them up against anybody here on what they can do, what they could do, what we could do with our modern techniques. And it's all over the world now. Now we see this stuff coming out of South America. Huge water systems and planting systems and pyramids. Of course, down in South America, they used it to chop off heads and do sacrifices of their enemies and make a nice river of blood. But again, that just shows that mankind is very imperfect. So anyway, with that, I'm just, wrap it up is that, both the evidence, the evidence we have evidence of communication and information in nature. And again, with that evidence, you can think that it happened by chance, but when it's repeated millions, billions of times through history, again, I'll give it, I want to see a huge list of the mutations that it would have taken to gone from what we call the simplest life forms or the more primitive life forms to the complexity we see today. And like I said, back to the Cambrian layer, that was complex stuff. Anyway, I'm going to finish it up there. Any other questions? Let's see. Joseph, how are you doing? I didn't even put a link out today because I was going to be just really quick. He tried to get him drunk and home sorry about that. I need better glasses. Home to fool him into believing it was his kid first. Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, King David. I skipped that part of the story. It's like, I just had an adultery. That again, and then again, a footnote that shows that we have people that believe dispensation. That was the dispensation of law. Well, no, because under the law, God would have commanded King David's death. King David broke the commandment with adultery. Then I don't know if this was against any of the commandments instead of false witness type of thing, because he knew she was pregnant. He brought the husband home and then tried to get him, hey, you guys party. But that guy had some ethics. He knew that he should have been out there fighting the battle, along with King David and the rest of the mighty men. So he didn't even go near his wife to even give the impression that, oh, yeah, that was his kid. And so, yeah, sin upon sin upon sin. Our heroes of the faith are no different than we are. And I know, so I won't pick on the guys and Robin, in line, one of the ancestors. I'm not being specific. I'm just saying as to make yourself feel good. We had prostitutes in the line of Jesus Christ. Some of his human ancestors were lowly women. They weren't the highest. They weren't up there. And so that even then, and that's why I won't even joke, because they were bad. King David was bad, so he could save me. The harlots that were in the line, his Jesus Christ grandparents, great grandparents, were not the Hercules, were not the mythical heroes. They were, in a lot of cases, worse than us. Worse, some of the low of women. I don't care how progressive you are. If your daughter wants to say, hey, mom, should I go be a secretary or a prostitute? I would hope you would pick secretary. Just saying. Dad, I think I want to be a doctor or a pimp, drug dealer. What do you think? I think we have standards, and we can say it just, oh yeah, no, everybody's fine. There's no good, no evil. I think experience shows us different. Okay, thank you, Joseph, for that. Joseph, I was just telling, and hopefully you saw, I saw you on Kentucky Atheist. That was awesome. Now I've got respect for Kentucky Atheist, but I would have anyway, because when I saw his program that Robin has been a guest on there, and so it's like, I would not expect the Kentucky Atheist to be any like who's that Aaron Raw obnoxious guy, just down to earth people that those are like my people, like yours and mine, Joseph. And so I just want to ask the Lord to bless. Oh, there's more. And usually I go to the YouTube on this because it's easier, because this thing is not good. Trying to get through the comments. Respect. I'll just go through these quick and then we'll end up here. But thanks so much hanging out. See, I know, like, get with my people, and then I don't want to have a short show because I wasn't going to have one today. Let's see. Sorry I was late though, because I was kind of rainy here, and I was cleaning up some stuff, and then I came in. It's like, it's late. Yeah. So, and this is, a lot of history and a lot of stuff. Women didn't decide their own fate. And I don't know about you, Robin, but I've told my daughters, because, it is a power structure. Humanity is a power structure. And, whether it's religiously or not, my thing is, like, women are very controlling. You have your ways. And I always told my daughters, I think more of a religious type of thing, was like, yeah, follow your husband, but find a guy that's going to honor and love you, that you'll be able to follow him, because he's going to lead you the way you want. I don't know about other women, and it's according to the guys too. Again, had a acquaintance, it was a relative, who was like, oh, look at that, she got a black eye, what a bad guy she's with. Oh, she's with a new guy. Oh, This is the new guy she got that gave her another black eye. That was the other guy from the other time that gave her the black eye. And, so there's also that, just our psyches, there's so much going on. There's so many things that can happen because of people and, with their childhood. I'm being Mr. Shrink here. Is that, but just on the basic, just like a normal person that, hasn't gone through too much garbage, because I think we all have little scars in our brains from, living in society, outside of society, living as a human being. And so, but Robin, I really think, women control a lot more than even back in the day. You look at John the Baptist. Even if you don't believe in the story, you believe that something like that has happened in history, where, whoever the character was, I don't remember, was it Herod? It doesn't matter. The ruler who, didn't like what John the Baptist was saying, but he feared the people because, he was loved by the people. So he's like, okay, I'll just let him babble on and ignore it. But he offended the wife, because the wife was actually the ruler's ex-sister-in-law or something, was the wife of one of his relatives or something. It was an adultery type of situation. And then the wife, got the daughter to do a little dancey dance for the ruler. And he goes, "Oh, that was so cool. What can I give you? I'll give you." And the girl goes, planned in advance with the mother, "Hey, how about the head of John the Baptist?" And he had to do it because that was his word. He was stupid enough to be led by the woman. So, there's two sides in that. And I know, the person who has had a very kooky or father that, PTSD, and like, oh, it's, men are so abusive. It's, to me, it's people are abusive. And we try to control. We do try to be the fittest, the survival of the fittest. And we try to, to reign supreme. But, and again, though, and I would have to agree with you, Robin, that men do have more muscle, no matter what the feminists will say that, oh, women can do anything men can. Yeah, I no, that's a proven fact. No, you're not going to, that's why you have no women on men's professional sports. You are built for designed, or, by chance, you're designed for a different purpose. And it seems like a great design, that if it worked properly, that the man is supposed to be, loving, being the guardian, being the supplier, the breadwinner, and the woman is to be the nurturer, the caregiver, the homemaker. It seems like to be a good system. Now, again, you get humans involved, and they're going to mess it up. And not that, and like the Bible, like say, oh, it's so misogynistic. That's the right one, right? Patriotic, whatever it is. The men lead, but you have the Proverbs 31 woman who took care of the house. She went and bought fields. She did real estate. No, she went out and worked, but the guy was also out working too. So, different things, different, and we'll end it at that. Hopefully that, explains it, because my daughters, I taught them, they're not doormats. God does not want doormats out of women. Of course, men who want to control want everybody to be doormats. So not even that. A controlling man wants everybody else to be doormats. Sure, especially his wife, because, he doesn't want to, he wants to be the leader, the boss. And and so, yeah, and as a guy who's more of I like to make people happy. Oh, I get myself in a lot of situations where I'm just used by women and men. And yeah, call me Mr. Beto. beta, whatever. But I think that's the way people should be in the giving. But if somebody gives something to you, you should give something to them. You shouldn't then, oh, this is a sucker. I'll promise to, oh, well, if you help me, I'll help you. And then it's like, you're not helping me. So that was the way life goes, which I think is evidence more for what the Bible says. And that's why, where's Achilles? I didn't give a link. Sorry, guys. It was supposed to be a quick one. If Achilles is there, hello, sir. And again, we love you, Robin, because we love everybody, but we try to love everybody. I mean, we're human, but it's that, when somebody just is antagonistic, I honor your opinions, Robin. That's where I believe we all have our own opinions. I don't think everybody has their own truth. I wouldn't define it that way, but I would say we all have our own opinions. And when we oh, you're an idiot because you believe different than I am, dude, most likely the person who says that probably thought differently in the past and called people that didn't think that an idiot. And now they changed their mind, and now the others are still idiots that don't believe. Yeah, it's our humanity, and that's what I think is evidence for a God in need of creation. I'm getting out of here. Wow, 117. Now I wish I would have opened it up. Sorry, people, I didn't give a link because it was going to be such a short one. But yeah, I get talking to my friends, and you guys, you can kind of imagine. Pray for my wife, because I'm a talker. All right, guys. Oh, I gotta go pick up Philip. He's over at my grandson's house. They're having over there playing, and there's some wet floors or something, some leaky pipes that I want to go check out for my daughter. So God bless everybody. God bless everybody's week, and until next time. Hopefully, I got all the comments, but I'll pull a Steven and just go, I'm out of here. But I'm not that fast. I will be out of here. Here we go. God bless you all.